What I'd like to do is just give you a brief tour of Tandem Laboratories over the next couple of minutes. I'm not sure I can be quite as fast as Dragon was, but we'll give it a try. Our facilities are located in Salt Lake City, Utah, West Trenton, New Jersey, Woburn, Massachusetts, San Diego, and recently Research Triangle Park with Enthalpy. Services we offer are bioanalytical with new chemical entities, GLP dose formulations, discovery, and immunoanalytical work. Some of the highlights of the work that we've done are oligonucleotides, proteins and peptides, lipids, dry blood spot analysis, online SPE using the symbiosis, low quantitations. We've got assays that are down in the very low picogram levels. And then some rapid screening discovery PK using 2.8 micron columns. So what I'd like to do is just go through 3 of these for you. Proteins and peptides, we've developed more than 10 protein assays and validated about 30 peptide assays. Proteins, what we're going to do is we're just going to go in there with a molecular pair of shears. We're going to cut them up. We're going to get them down to a peptide. And then we'll go ahead and analyze the peptide by LC-MS/MS. The interesting portion of this is we're looking at an endogenous peptide here. We'll take a stable label peptide, D8. We'll actually use that as the analyte for the quantitation. And then go in there with a second stable label, a D14 peptide, and use that as the internal standard. So this way we can actually go ahead and quantitate the endogenous material without affecting our calibration curves. As you can see here, the standard deviations and the means across these series of assays are all pretty tight. Online SPE extractions. This is done with the symbiosis. I'm going to show data here from an assay that was about 100 seconds in duration, and then contrast that against an offline SPE LC-MS/MS assay. General concept here is you have a cartridge over here where the actual extraction takes place. You take your samples, you dilute them out with buffer, add the internal standard, essentially a dilute and shoot, bring it over to the instrument, fire it off, and let it go. That cartridge is then moved over to a second clamping system, and you can go ahead and run chromatography on that. You can either run the chromatography directly off the SPE cartridge at that point, or you can elute off that, go to an analytical column, and run the analytical column into the LC-MS. Offline here, sensitivities here are about the same. We've got about a nanogram per ml here. This is on an API 5000. With the symbiosis online with an API 4000, we've got that same LLOQ, about the same intensity. Peak's a little bit broader, but this is actually taken off of the SPE cartridge and not actually over to an analytical column. And here we've got the same sensitivity online as we did offline, but we went to a 4,000 instead of 5,000. How can we do that? We lose about 80% of the sample here. By the time you get it dried down, you take it up in 50 microliters, you inject 10 microliters. When you go online with the SPE, 100% of the sample is going over for analysis. What do the stats look like? The blue here is the offline SPE, LC-MS/MS. The red is the online SPE-MS/MS. And you can see that our stats are actually probably better going online with 100 milliseconds, or I'm sorry, 100 second assay. Discovery rapid screening, even though this is actually 2.5 times slower than the online SPE, we'll still call it rapid screening. It's all fit for purpose. What we want to do is we want to develop a generic method that can go through and analyze a series of compounds that are totally blind to us. One method, get it all done. What do the stats look like after running hundreds and hundreds of compounds? These stats are very similar to what we see. We're within 10% down here of the CV and percent theoretical. And to end on a nice, happy chromatographic slide. The extraction procedure is fairly simple. We take a biotage plate, hit it with acetonitrile with the internal standard, 25 microliters of plasma into that, spin that down. Take that over, do our cleanup actually on a gradient LC system. This is about a 3.8-minute cycle time. About 22 hours here, 150 injections, 200 injections in. Here are our analytes here. Phospholipids are all cleaned off the column here. And we can keep it clean, and it keeps reproducible sample to sample. All right, thanks.